Hey traders, welcome to another YouTube Live. Today we're going to be talking about Bitcoin's price action starting from the weekly and monthly and then working down all the way to the 4-hour and 1-hour charts. So we got a decent pullback, which we were expecting to some degree for our retest of our key mid-range zone that we just broke out and completed on the weekly chart. So let's quickly look at this on the weekly. We're not really going to discuss the monthly because obviously it doesn't change a whole lot. We do see the price inching closer and closer to our major supply zone, but overall we still got a little bit of room before we actually hit the area. So talking about the weekly here, so we got two trend lines being drawn from the previous day, and let's just take a snip and talk about what we are currently seeing. So this is our anchor point right here. We have two trend lines. We have our less descending and more descending. The less descending, which is the top one, which is our final outline for the structure of the price action. And then we have our current resistance, which is now going to act as a new level of support that we just broke to the upside. So we had this descending trend line here. That was our resistance with candle closures right at that zone with wicks protruding above the area. We got another rejection off this zone after the 40% pump from 75, and then we basically broke above and now retesting and holding on the weekly chart right now, which is very, very healthy and great to see for the bulls. So if we are able to hold this on the weekly chart, it will look amazing. For now, we are still holding on the dailies. We do see within the volume, we see volume accumulation, not much sell pressure compared to the buy pressure within the market. Overall, the chart looks very healthy. There's a solid break. We needed the pullback to validate the previous resistance as a new level of support, and that's exactly what we're doing. So overall on the weekly, it looks very strong, it looks very bullish, and also I just put this white line, which is going to represent the week of the BTC halving. I don't think it's going to be absolutely parabolic within this range. Obviously, we don't exactly know, but the true price appreciation occurs 3, 4, 5 months after the actual halving. So I'm not going to assume that this is going to play a major key player within from now until the actual date of the halving, but I'm really going to be looking at it from this point onwards until around 2021. If not, definitely start first half of 2021. It will be very, very interesting to see. So now that we talked about the weekly, let's discuss what we can actually see on the daily. This is a CME future. So with this one, we're mainly looking at gaps within the market. And then on the Gemini, we drew in our descending trend lines connecting the lower highs. So we'll talk about the CME futures right now first, and then we'll discuss the potential for the Gemini exchange. So on CME futures, we've been holding this very key level of resistance. So that's our next major supply zone that we need to gap. And zooming out just a little bit right here, just on the CME futures, we can see that yes, this key level of resistance is such a key level of support, and that's our first gap. And then we're going to try to hit our second gap, which is around 11.5 to 12K. We can see that all around here, resistance, support, resistance. And on the weekly, we can also identify that as a strong level within the chart. So now that we've identified the CME futures, we can now talk about the daily chart for the Gemini exchange. We do see just wanted to illustrate where that anchor point was at the very top, and now that we understand where that is, we can talk about the more recent price action that we can identify. So I drew in a couple trend lines here, just discussing in the previous price action. So that will be right there. All right, so we're basically breaking resistance. I don't really need these two zones right here. I'll just delete this one and keep the simple one there. So we are now above our zone and have retested, and it looks like we are holding for a nice level of support. Previous resistance equals new support with that zone right there, so it's looking pretty healthy. We saw the same thing happen here, same thing happen here. Resistance, support, resistance, support. So now we're saying the same thing. A new level of support would be held as a previous level of resistance. The main structure low that we want to hold above is around this range here. We see that it's been a key level within the chart in the previous 2019 price action. So very key that we stick above this zone, and as long as we're above this area of support, I'm definitely looking long. I'm looking to long alt as well as BTC within the market. Now, surprisingly, we don't see a tremendous amount of buy volume on the way up compared to what we saw in the previous historic moves like we saw in the first half of 2019. So there isn't that much buy volume coming in, but the buy volume is higher than the sell volume, but overall there just isn't that much elevated R vol within the market that we're currently are in. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, but we're not seeing as many traders trade the market compared to what we saw in the first half of 2019, although that can change as we start gaining more momentum for the first quarter of 2020. So now getting into the 4-hour chart, discussing what we could see on the pullback. So basically, we haven't really discussed the pullback and which way the direction could be going. Overall, we saw a move to the upside. This is a zone of confluence where there's going to be buy pressure within the area. We're waiting to see buy pressure enter the market right here with buy injections holding the price up. Once we see that, we are looking to long to get that exposure towards our next key supply zone, which is going to be a significant move. So that's the overall outlook that I'm going to be looking at the market in. Holding supports, looking to capture the next move towards our key level of supply. Like we saw here, from demand to supply zone, we're looking to get that same sort of move captured from mid-range demand zone to supply zone. That is our goal. So we're going to be looking at price action patterns that could potentially have a good entry signal at this point in time. But right now, we're not really seeing it. I think we are going to pull back a little bit more at this point in time. I'm just going to draw in one more minor level trend line, which is going to be this zone right here. Oops. Drew it a little bit off. It's going to be this zone right here that the price is currently holding above. So this is a previous resistance, new support came up, and then now it's holding the same level of resistance. And then what I will do is just make this a little bit more red so we can see where it is. And this is that descending zone right here. This is the first descending zone on the weekly. You can see it, this zone right here. That is this zone right here. So we see the price has pushed up above the zone, breaking above it, closing on the 4-hour above this area. And now we are getting our pullback at a nearby level of support. So it looks pretty good, look completely healthy. Even if we come back down to this range right here, I'm still thinking that we're going to have a bullish breakout, and I'm still looking for long. So right now, the price is holding this level of support. That's great. But if the price does inevitably come back to our main, more major level of resistance right here, I still think that I'm going to be looking for longs at this point in time within the market. But for now, the price is pulled back within this level of support, which is great. If it does hold, that's good to see. Overall, we do see buy volume coming in, seeing increasing buy volume overall in the market, which is good. But I do think that that pullback could come from where we are right now to make a lower low. See, this is a low, this is a higher low, this is a lower low, and this is a lower low. Ideally, on the 1 hour, we'd be making some sort of descending trend line that connects the lower highs, sort of like this, kind of like we saw here. Oh, that was a really bad trend line. So we're going to make the comparison with this consolidation to what we could potentially see in the next consolidation. We saw the price make lower lows and lower highs. This is a high, this is a lower high, this is a lower high. You connect the lower highs and it makes a nice trend line. We broke a previous level of resistance and now formed a new level of support. Current level of resistance could be a new level of support. We're looking for a nice descending trend line connecting the lower highs. And once we see the price break above the descending trend line, make a new high, sort of like we saw here, then we'll look to long and make some money on the upside. So I don't think that it's ready to enter just yet. I think we're now in the consolidation phase of the pullback, of the move. So we made a move up, consolidation, move up, consolidation, move up. So I think we are in the consolidation phase of the waves, and I think I don't want to enter short just yet because it's not much of a move here, especially when the bullish movement and trend is so strong. I don't want to be sitting in front of a moving train. I want to be very patient and wait until the price gives me a better entry signal to actually enter in BTC. So for now, looking for a potential descending trend line that I can use to potentially see a shift in trend. But for now, we just made a move to the downside, made a new low. We're looking to see some consolidation, making lower highs and lower lows potentially, or at least lower highs and the price holding a certain low. So it's not making lower lows and it's making lower highs, creating a descending trend line, kind of like we see here. And then we're going to just connect the descending trend line lower highs, and then once we see a break, we're going to look to enter. So there's some things that need to occur before we actually attack the markets, but for now it's looking pretty healthy. Let's just quickly talk about the 1 hour chart because there's not a whole lot more to talk about, but looks pretty healthy. I think that the price, if it doesn't hold the 97, I'm definitely looking to enter on the 95-ish $100 zone once we see that there's confirmation of buyers within the market. So that's the overall TA outlook. I like to stick on the 4-hour chart because I can really understand what's happening with the daily and 4-hour chart. Looks pretty good. I've already described what I'm looking for, and there's not a whole lot more to talk about. And let's now go on to the tools that we use, like the BTC longs and shorts. We're just seeing the longers, the buyers just enter and enter and enter, sort of like we saw here. Same situation. We're just seeing the buyers making higher highs and higher lows, breaking resistances, not really seeing any pullback. But obviously this isn't a price chart. It is more of a percentage of long and shorts. So it's not representing a price of an asset, so it's going to move differently. So we're not going to withhold the same kind of structures that we're looking for a price asset compared to what we're also seeing on this chart. So it's looking pretty good. We're seeing them price hold our previous resistance as a new level of support, which is really, really great to see. We do have to keep in mind this area right here where we saw the stall last time. So when we are looking at the price action, if this continues to stall around this level, that could indicate another sell-off that we could be capturing some shorts in. But for now, we are going to just patiently wait, and we do have a bit of room before this actually hits the recent high. So until that happens, I'm just going to be looking long, continuing the trend, seeing if it's able to hold this little minor level of support, and basically looking at a long bias. And the last thing that we want to see is the coin farm index, which is going to show the percentage of the long shorts within different exchanges in the market. So first off, like always, we're going to talk about BTC on the 24-hour, and then we'll move to the 1-hour time frame. So the first, the 24-hour, we're not seeing a whole lot of discrepancy. 3.25% higher for the shorts on BitMEX, just over 1.5% higher for the shorts on Binance, and around 2.2% higher for the short sellers on Bybit. So overall, there are more people shorting than longing. There's not a huge discrepancy, but for all three exchanges that we're talking about, there are more short sellers than longers. And looking at the 1-hour time frame, actually, we see a lot more buyers than short sellers. Actually, on the 1-hour time frame, we see almost 7% more on BitMEX, where it's 57% long and only 43% are short. That's a pretty big discrepancy for BitMEX. 7% is pretty high from the median of 50-50. Binance is around just over 3% of longs gaining more traction than shorts. And then on Bybit, there is 10% more. So there's 60% of people on Bybit that are looking to gain exposure to the long side, while there is only 40% of people out of 100% that is looking to gain some exposure for the short side. So on the 24-hour, there is a little bit more shorts. On the 1-hour, there is significantly more longs, especially on Bybit and Binance. So it's looking pretty good for longs in the short-term time frame. On the daily, it's looking a little bit even more weighted towards the short side. So that's the analysis that we have for BTC. Definitely still looks very strong. We are going to patiently wait a little bit, so it's forming a little bit more of a pattern that we can trade off of. I don't love just trading off of a single confirmation of a support bounce. I'm going to wait and patiently stick with the bigger time frame because we did have a pullback. We're really wanting to look to enter to capture this move here from around the $9,600 zone to the 11.5 to 12K, and I think that could still come into fruition. So it's around where we are right now to like here. So like I think the next bullish push could come to around the highs here, and I think at that point then we'll have to reassess to see how the market is looking. But for now, it's looking pretty good. I'm happy with the current trades. I'm happy with the current market structure. I'm happy with a lot of things. So no complaints. Enjoying the trades, enjoying the Monday. Hopefully we get a good couple trades here this week. Not going to try to force anything, although it does look pretty good for the longs. So I always do a market analysis every morning for our Perfect Monty Premium members. The BTC analysis comes a little bit later once I've really got the students up to date with what I'm seeing in the markets, what trades I'm taking, how I'm managing the trades I already have, and going over what trades I did take, if they were winners or losers, what we could have done better, analyzing what we did right and wrong, and overall having a good understanding of how we're trading within the market. So I hope you enjoyed this market analysis. Like always, if you're not in the Discord, highly suggest going into it. It's absolutely free. It's a great community of traders, both in crypto, stocks, forex, commodities, you name it. We are just interested in trading, entrepreneurial endeavors, and all that stuff. If you're looking to gain more of an edge in the market and would like to understand how we trade, we do offer a full one-on-one mentorship program where we offer books, videos, and other educational tools to help streamline the process of learning how to trade and shortening the learning curve in order to actually become a trader that you can depend on and that you have confidence while you are trading within the market. So I hope you enjoyed this, and until next time, happy trading. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the week.